हाँ सर, मैंने ना आपको ऑर्डर भेजा है। ये जो 1 2 3 मतलब ये जो
Hello
छोटे वाले
students, welcome back to our live classes. Okay, so we are going to continue today with human reproduction part. Okay, in the last class we had studied about, yes, hello Siddhi, hello Aditya, Viraj. Okay, so now what we are going to do today, we are going to start with the next topic, that is gametogenesis. We have already studied about what are the different parts of the male and female reproductive system. Okay, so now today we are going to see the next part, which is gametogenesis. Okay, now again students, this is a very important topic for your board exams, as well as it is very important for your entrance exams as well, because there are many small minute questions which are being asked depending on the ploidy of the question cells, right? We are going to study different type of cells in this, and all these cells are to be thoroughly kept in your mind, that which are the cells that are present in a sequence. So to start with, we are going to first understand that what exactly is gametogenesis. Now, as I always tell you, you need to always break down the words if they are formed by two. So if you see the term gametogenesis, gameto means gamete, okay, and genesis means formation. Okay, so what is going to happen here? What is this process called as? The process wherein the gamete formation is going to take place. That process will be termed as gametogenesis. Again, I'm repeating. Gameto ka matlab ho gaya gamete. It's a term that is explaining gametes. And genesis ka matlab ho gaya formation. And when you already know by studying the first and second chapter that gametes, they are always haploid. Gametes, they are what? Always haploid, right? So what is going to happen? How can you strictly define this term? The process of formation of haploid gametes, right? You know what is the meaning of haploid? There will be only one set of chromosomes present. Okay, so this one set of chromosome is going to define the characteristic of the haploid gametes, right? So you can totally define this as the process of formation of haploid gametes from the diploid germ cells in the gonads. Now, what do you mean by gonads? Gonads are the primary sex organs which are responsible for the formation of gametes. Correct? And these processes will be termed as gametogenesis. Fine? Now, as I told you, the gonads are the terms that, it is used to represent the primary sex organs, okay? And the primary sex organs are what we have already studied about it, testis and the ovary, right? The testis is basically the male primary sex organ, and the ovary is female primary sex organ. Both these organs, they are involved. When I talk about primary sex organs, we have earlier also discussed. When we talk about the primary sex organs, we are talking about testis and ovary. And these primary sex organs, they are involved in the formation of the gametes, right? And apart from these, they will also secrete the male and female sex hormones, correct? So, the male gamete which will be produced is a sperm, and the female gamete is the ovum. Correct? Now, always keep this in mind that gametogenesis, or you can say the process of formation of these gametes, it is separate in case of males and females. Right? Two things that you need to remember here in mind is that one thing, gametes, they will be always haploid, because they have only one set of chromosomes present, and the organs which are responsible for formation of these gametes, they are the primary sex organs, that is testis in male and ovary in females. Now, since the type of gamete produced is different in male and female, the processes that are involved in formation of the gametes also will be different. In males, the process is termed as spermatogenesis. Now, why it is termed as spermatogenesis? Again, we will break down this word into two. Spermato comes from the term spermatozoa. From where does it come? Spermatozoa. And genesis means formation. Now again, spermatozoa or sperm, they are synonymous terms. ठीक है, आप spermatozoa भी बोल सकते हो या फिर sperm भी बोल सकते हो. Here we are talking about is the male gamete. ठीक है, so the process of formation in the male gamete will be termed as spermatogenesis, and it is going to begin at puberty. Again, a very important point that you need to keep in mind. Gamete formation in males is going to start at puberty. That means at the age of 10 to 12 years, when the male secondary sexual characters start developing. Okay? In case of female, the process of gamete formation will be termed as oogenesis. Again, here the O term comes from the ovum or the female gamete, and genesis means formation. So what is happening here? The ovum is being formed, and so that process is called as oogenesis. And the process is going to start at the embryonic stage. Very important. First distinguish between that you can come to know from here between spermatogenesis and oogenesis is that spermatogenesis starts at the age of puberty, that means at the age of 10 to 12 years, whereas oogenesis starts from the embryonic stage itself. So can you understand when a fetus is present inside the mother's womb? And from that particular time only, at that embryonic stage only, the process of oogenesis is going to start. The first point of difference. Students, please keep in mind all these differences because later on we are also going to discuss the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Okay. So first we will see about spermatogenesis in detail, that how the sperms are formed. Later on we are going to also study about what is the structure of these sperms. Okay, so now as I told you again, the process of formation of the haploid male gamete, that is the sperm, will be termed as spermatogenesis. And where exactly does this process of spermatogenesis take place? In the seminiferous tubule. Where does it take place? Inside the seminiferous tubule. I hope you remember the structure, right? We had studied in the last class the structure of testis. So inside the testis, you always see that there are testicular lobules, and in each of these testicular lobules, what are present? The seminiferous tubules. So the process of this sperm formation is going to take place inside these seminiferous tubules, right? Now, if you see the cross section, like we had seen that day, if you take a cross section of the seminiferous tubule, the inner wall, okay, outer part, you will see that there is germinal epithelial cells present. Okay, now these germinal epithelial cells, they get mature at puberty. Okay, the germinal epithelium cells, this is what you see is the germinal epithelium. Okay, and towards the inner side at puberty, towards the inner side of these germinal epithelium, there will be two types of cells which are found. The larger cells, they are the spermatogonia cells, and the other type of cells that you find here are called the Sertoli cells. Yes. Okay, so these are the Sertoli cells. You can see here. Outer layer is that of germinal epithelium, which is going to give rise to two types of cells, right? These cells, they are present on the inner wall of the seminiferous tubule. One of them is called as a germ cell or the spermatogonia cells, and the other one are the Sertoli cells. If you see here, the green one, colored one is the Sertoli cells. And the other blue colored cells that you see are the spermatogonia cells. Okay, these are the spermatogonia cells. It is these two cells which are going to, play the role in the process of spermatogenesis. Now, during puberty, what happens is, these germinal epithelial cells which you see here, they are going to divide by mitosis to form many cells called as the spermatogonia cells. Okay, initially what is happening at the age of puberty, the germinal epithelium cells, the cells present here, they are also called as the primordial germ cells. What are they called as? Primordial germ cells, PGC. These primordial germ cells, they undergo mitotic cell division to form these spermatogonia cells. Okay, and the Sertoli cells, again, they will be present along with these spermatogonia cells in between. So the germ cells, they are going to divide. These spermatogonia cells, they are going to divide and develop into sperms, whereas the Sertoli cells, they are going to provide nourishment to the developing sperms. During the process of spermatogenesis, whatever are the sperms that will be formed or developed inside the seminiferous tubules, those sperms will be nourished by these Sertoli cells, and as a result, the Sertoli cells, they are also called as the nurse cells. ठीक है, हॉस्पिटल में जब हम लोग होते हैं तो नर्स क्या करती है, दे टेक एक्स्ट्रा केयर अपार्ट फ्रॉम द मेडिकेशंस एंड ऑल दैट इज गिवन बाय द डॉक्टर्स. सो सेम थिंग happens here. The Sertoli cells, they are providing extra nourishment to the developing sperms, and that is the result they are also called as the nurse cells. Yes students, jaldi se mujhe bata dijiye, is this thing clear to you? This is just the general introduction. Now we are going to actually start the process of spermatogenesis. Please comment in the comment box so that I can move ahead. If there is any doubt, I can clear it, students. Okay, so here too we are start with the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, now as I told you, it is the process of formation of these sperms from the immature germ cells. और वो immature germ cells कौन से हैं? Spermatogonia cells. Okay, this is clear to Siddhi. Then what about others? बाकी सब भी जल्दी से comment कर दीजिए so that I can move ahead. Okay. So this immature germ cells, which are the immature germ cells? Spermatogonia. Okay. Right. Now, the complete process of spermatogenesis, it can be divided into 3 phases. Okay, one is called as the multiplication phase, second is the growth phase, and the last phase will be termed as the maturation phase. So let us see that what exactly happens in the multiplication phase. These spermatogonia cells, which are formed from the primordial germ cells, they again undergo repeated mitotic division. And when that happens, they are going to form many and many cells. More and more number of diploid cells will be formed. Why the diploid cells are formed? Because the type of division that is taking place is mitotic division. That means equational division is taking place. And these equational division is going to give rise to the cells which are always diploid. So I can tell you here that this is a spermatogonium cell. A single spermatogonium cell is going to divide to form other cells. By which type of cell division? Mitosis. So if the spermatogonium cell is diploid, the other cells formed, they also will be diploid. Now what are these other cells formed called as? Initially, when these spermatogonia cells, they divide by repeated mitotic division, the new cells formed, they are also these spermatogonia cells only. Which phase is this? Multiplication. मतलब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Spermatogonia cells जो है, they are dividing repeatedly. तो जो नए cells form होंगे, they are also called as which type of cells? Spermatogonia cells. ठीक है? Now, the type of cells that are formed, as I told you, 2 type of cells will be formed. Some spermatogonia cells, they are said to be type A cells, and the other ones are said to be type B. Okay, now type A spermatogonia cells, they retain the ability to divide. That means they act as the stem cells. Okay, they retain the property of these spermatogonia cells, and they are going to divide further to form more spermatogonia cells. Whereas the type B spermatogonia cells, what is going to happen to the type B? Let me draw again the diagram here. If this is the type B spermatogonia cell, the type B spermatogonia cell is going under the second phase, that is the growth phase. ठीक है, सो अब क्या हो जाएगा? मल्टीप्लिकेशन फेज में क्या हो रहा है? जो स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स है वो बार बार माइटोटिक डिवीजन कर रहे हैं और 2 टाइप के सेल्स फॉर्म करेंगे, टाइप ए एंड टाइप बी. टाइप ए सेल्स जो है, दे विल रिटेन द प्रॉपर्टी टू डिवाइड. वापस वो डिवाइड होके जो है बार बार स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स ही बनाएंगे. बट टाइप बी स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स जो है, व्हाट आर दे गोइंग टू डू? They are going to undergo the second phase, that is the growth phase. Okay, so in growth phase, what is going to happen? These spermatogonial cells are going to increase in size. So if I say that this is the original size of the type B cell, then they are going to increase in size. How they are going to increase in size? By increasing the cytoplasm. And while they are increasing in size, they also get mature. Okay, and after this process, when the maturation in the growth phase is completed, these spermatogonia cells, they will divide further to form the primary spermatocytes. That will be the part of the maturation phase. So what is happening here? Let us consider this to be the type B cell. So this is the completely grown spermatogonia cell. Now this is going to divide further by the reductional division, that is meiosis 1. And when the spermatogonia is going to divide by meiosis 1, two cells will be formed further, which are called as the primary spermatocytes. What are they called as? Primary spermatocytes. I'll show the figure here. Yes. See, in the maturation phase, the diploid primary spermatocyte undergoes first meiosis. वापस में बता रही हूँ, ये क्या है? हमारा स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल which has divided, grown in size. एक बार जो सेल ग्रो हो जाता है साइज में, तो उसी सेल को हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? प्राइमरी स्पर्मेटोसाइट बोलेंगे इसको. Further, these primary spermatocytes will undergo the cell division process. Okay? Okay, students, here, wait a minute. Here, this is not meiosis 1. Fine, my mistake here. Actually, the grown cell is only called as what? The primary spermatocyte. एक बार जो spermatogonia cell है वो size में increase हो जाएगा, growth phase में enter करेगा, तो वो increased cell जो है, increased size of the cell, उस stage को हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? Primary spermatocyte. And then again, these primary spermatocyte, what it is going to do? It will undergo the first meiotic division. अब जब meiosis होगा तो ये diploid secondary spermatocyte जो है वो क्या form करने वाला है? It is going to form cells which will be called as the secondary spermatocytes. और क्योंकि यहाँ पे first meiotic division है, हुआ है, क्या हो जाएगा? The primary spermatocyte will be diploid, but since it is going the first meiotic division, it is going to form two equal haploid cells. क्यों haploid cells? क्योंकि कौन से टाइप का सेल डिविजन हो रहा है? Meiosis, right? So the secondary spermatocytes which are formed, they will be haploid. Okay, and each of these secondary spermatocytes later on is going the second meiotic division to produce the 4 equal haploid spermatids. अभी भी sperm formation तो हुआ ही नहीं है. Still, what is happening here? The primary spermatocytes have divided by first meiotic division to form 2 secondary spermatocytes. Okay, I'll make a clear figure for you here again so that it's clear to understand. See here, this is the increased growth, the spermatogonia which has entered into the growth phase, and now it will be called as the primary spermatocyte. Okay, so this primary spermatocyte, it is going to undergo meiosis 1, and when it divides by meiosis 1, it is going to form 2 cells, and these 2 cells which are formed, they are called as the secondary spermatocytes. These secondary spermatocytes, each one of these formed will undergo again into a cell division process which is meiosis 2. Now these meiosis 2, as a result of meiosis 2, the cells which have formed, they are called as spermatids. क्या बोलेंगे इन cells को? Spermatids. अब एक बार हम लोग प्लॉइडी डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज इट इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट. प्लॉइडी वाले क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम में बहुत आते हैं. सो अगर प्राइमरी स्पर्मेटोसाइट की बात करेंगे तो वो डिप्लॉइड ही है. क्यों? दो दे आर फॉर्म्ड फ्रॉम स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स, बट कौन सी टाइप के सेल डिवीजन से फॉर्म होते हैं? वो माइटोसिस सेल डिवीजन. Okay, so the primary spermatocyte is always diploid. Now when it is undergoing first meiotic division, it is going to form 2 spermatocytes which are 2 secondary spermatocyte. और कौन से सेल डिवीजन से हो रहा है वो? meiosis 1. और अगर meiotic division हो रहा है यहाँ पे, तो क्या हो जाएगा? There will be decrease in the haploidy. So जो secondary spermatocytes है वो कैसे हो जाएंगे? They will be haploid. Chromosome number is reduced to half. From 46 pair of chromosomes, there will be only 23 chromosomes present in each secondary spermatocyte. The secondary spermatocyte is further dividing by meiosis II, right? So these spermatids which are formed again, they will remain haploid only. Why? Because हम लोगों ने 11th standard में already पढ़ा हुआ है meiosis II जो होता है, it is equivalent to mitosis. उसमें further chromosome number reduce नहीं होता है. अगर रिड्यूस हो गया तो प्लॉइडी जो हो वो n से क्या हो जाएगा? n/2. And these type of ploidy cannot exist. Fine. The cell can either be diploid or it can be haploid. So students, quickly tell me please, did you understand all these three phases of spermatogenesis? The first phase was multiplication phase. The second phase is growth phase and the third phase is maturation phase. जल्दी से मुझे कमेंट करके बता दीजिए आप लोगों को समझ में आ चुका है कि नहीं, बिकॉज हम लोग एक नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस की तरफ बढ़ने वाले हैं जो कि स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस प्रोसेस का ही पार्ट है. ओके, सो अब जो हम देखने वाले हैं, the next process is actually the part of spermatogenesis only. Okay, wait, Siddhi is here, she wants me to explain it again, so we will again explain it quickly. Fine, see here, Siddhi, what is happening? Spermatogenesis का जो complete process है, it will be divided into multiplication phase, growth phase and the maturation phase. ठीक है, अब multiplicative phase में क्या होता है? जो spermatogonia cells form हुए हैं from the primordial germ cells, these cells they will divide by mitotic cell division. अब mitosis हो रहा है, so you know right that the ploidy of the new cells formed will be same. So spermatogonia, दूसरे जो cells form हो रहे हैं, they are also called as the spermatogonia cells only, and they will have that 46 number of chromosomes. The two cells which are formed by the spermatogonia division, they are actually similar. One will be called as type A spermatogonia and the other cell is called as type B spermatogonia. Type A spermatogonia cells, what they are going to do, they retain the property to divide और इसीलिए उनको stem cells भी बोला जाता है. वो क्या करेंगे? बार बार divide होके freshly new spermatogonia cells ही बनाते जाएंगे. Whereas type B spermatogonia cells जो है वो growth phase में जाएगा. And when it is entering the next phase, in the growth phase, these spermatogonia cell is going to increase in size. And while the increase in size takes place, what is going to happen? The cell which is formed will now be called as the primary spermatocyte. ये वाला जो cell मैंने यहाँ पे increased size वाला बनाया है, that is the primary spermatocyte cell. Okay. Now these primary spermatocyte enters into the maturation phase. Maturation phase में क्या होने वाला है? The primary spermatocyte will divide by meiosis I. अब आप लोगों ने 11th में पढ़ा है meiosis I is a type of division wherein the number of chromosomes is reduced to half, right? So the two cells which are formed, they will be called as the secondary spermatocytes, and the two cells formed, they will be haploid. Ploidy जो है वो half हो जाएगा, diploid से वो लोग haploid हो जाएंगे. The secondary spermatocytes formed, again they will undergo the second meiotic division. And when they undergo this second meiotic division, 4 cells will be formed which are called as the spermatids. And again all these spermatids, they are also going to have the haploid ploidy. That means they will have only one set of chromosome. क्यों? क्योंकि meiosis II कैसा होता है? It is equal to mitotic division. यहाँ पे जो है chromosome number reduce नहीं होता है. ठीक है? Siddhi, I hope it is clear to you. So now what we are going to do is the next process, that is spermiogenesis. अभी तक भी spermatozoa या sperm का formation नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है? हम जो पूरा process पढ़ रहे हैं spermatogenesis का, उसमें हम लोगों ने definition में क्या पढ़ा था? The process of formation of the sperms in the seminiferous tubules, right? तो sperms का तो term यहाँ पे अभी तक कहीं पे भी आया ही नहीं है. Still we have reached up to these spermatids only. Now what is going to happen? The spermatids which are formed, they are actually the non-motile inactive cells. non-motile and inactive cells. Now these spermatids, they undergo the process. They are transformed into it. They undergo maturation and differentiation. I'll draw the figure for you here. हाँ, अब ये जो स्पर्मेटिड है, हर एक वाला स्पर्मेटिड, ठीक है, टोटली कितने स्पर्मेटिड्स फॉर्म हुए हैं? 4 spermatids are formed. Now each of these spermatid which is formed, it is actually undergoing the process of maturation and differentiation. क्या हो रहा है? Maturation और differentiation होता है. So अब क्या होने वाला है? Each spermatid, मैं आपको यहाँ पे एक ही spermatid की बात करूँ, ठीक है? This single spermatid which is present, as I told you, it is non-motile and inactive. So क्या होगा? This spermatid, it undergoes the process of maturation and differentiation and modifies itself to form a motile structure which is called as the sperm. Okay, again I'm repeating here, the spermatid, they undergo maturation, differentiation and transform themselves into active motile structures or cells called as the sperm or spermatozoa. These processes called as spermiogenesis. Right, so here I can say that spermiogenesis is a part of spermatogenesis. Overall spermatogenesis का process किसको बोलेंगे हम? स्पर्मेटोजोआ से लेकर स्पर्म फॉर्मेशन तक की पूरी प्रोसेस को स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस बोलते हैं. बट इसमें जो सिर्फ मैचुरेशन वाला पार्ट है, जहां पे स्पर्मेटिड जो है इट इज मैच्योरिंग एंड डिफरेंशिएटिंग टू फॉर्म द स्पर्म, दैट प्रोसेस विल बी कॉल्ड एज स्पर्मियोजेनेसिस. ठीक है, ये स्पर्मेटिड जो है आप लोग देख सकते हो यहाँ पे, इट डज नॉट हैव एनी फ्लैजेला, इट इज नॉन मोटाइल एंड इनएक्टिव, राइट? Whereas the sperm, as you see, it is a motile cell and active. Motile कैसे हो गया वो? क्योंकि अब उसके पास क्या present है? It has a tail in its structure, and with the help of this tail, it is going to travel inside the female reproductive tract so that it can reach up to the female gamete for fertilization. Okay, fine. अब जो है मैं वापस आपको क्रॉस सेक्शन दिखाती हूँ सेमिनिफरस ट्यूब्यूल का. हमने क्या देखा था? सेमिनिफरस ट्यूब्यूल में देयर आर स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स, and in between the spermatogonia cells there are other cells which provide nourishment, and those cells are the Sertoli cells. ठीक है, तो हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पे? ये स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स जो है उसने पूरा डिविजन स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस का प्रोसेस कंप्लीट किया. सो फाइनली उसमें क्या फॉर्म हो रहा है? द स्पर्म्स आर बीइंग फॉर्म. ठीक है, many sperms will be formed. Now as soon as the sperms are formed, these sperms they embed their head into the Sertoli cells. ठीक है, वो क्या करेंगे? अपना हेड रीजन जो है स्पर्म का, that will be fixed or you can say joined to the Sertoli cells, and they get nutrition. जब तक वो कंप्लीट न्यूट्रिशन डिराइव नहीं कर लेते, they are going to embed their cells into the Sertoli cells, and finally when the complete development process is completed, the sperms they release their head from the Sertoli cells and they leave the seminiferous tubule and enter into the vas deferens finally. Okay, so that they can move into the abdominal part of the body. These process wherein the sperm head is embedded into the Sertoli cell and finally released, that process is termed as spermiation. आप लोगों को बहुत सारी चीजें याद रखनी है स्टूडेंट्स. यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस को हम लोग कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे? ठीक है, स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस के प्रोसेस में क्या हो रहा है? स्पर्मेटोजोआ जो है, सॉरी स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स, they are forming the spermatids first, and from this spermatids, ये spermatids कैसे है? Non-motile structures है, right? They are going to mature themselves to form sperms. Okay, and the sperms they will be motile. These process again, wherein the spermatids are modified, differentiated to form these sperms, that process is termed as spermiogenesis. And as soon as the sperms are formed, they are going to embed their head, I'm writing it here, embed their head in Sertoli cells, right? And when the complete nutrition has been derived, they are released from the seminiferous tubules and they enter into the vas deferens और vas deferens से फिर वो कहाँ पे चले जाएंगे? They will enter into the urethral cavity through which you can say they are going to come out. This process of releasing from the seminiferous tubule, okay, release of the head from the seminiferous tubule will be termed as spermiation. Students, quickly tell me, is the three processes clear? Are all these three processes clear? All spermatogenesis, spermiogenesis and spermiation. A very important question from your board exam point of view as well as for your entrance exam. 1 mark questions. Generally जो है आप लोग को board exams में आप लोग देखोगे difference between spermatogenesis और spermiogenesis आता है. Then difference between spermiation and spermiogenesis is also out. Okay, so quickly please tell me आप लोगों को तीनों processes के difference समझ में आ चुके हैं या नहीं? जल्दी जल्दी बता दीजिए मुझे. Yes, it is clear to Siddhi. Siddhi, thank you for the reply. Other students, please you also reply. Viraj, Aditya, Shubham, आप लोग भी जल्दी से बता दीजिए आप लोग को समझ में आ चुका है? Okay, फाइन. सो ये था स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस के बारे में जो कि हम लोग डायग्रामेटिकली अब लोग एक बार वापस देख लेते हैं. तो क्या देखा हम लोगों ने? सबसे पहले कौन से सेल्स थे? स्पर्मेटोगोनियम सेल्स जो कि माइटोसिस सेल डिवीजन से वापस दूसरे स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल्स ही फॉर्म कर रहे थे. एंड बिकॉज द टाइप ऑफ सेल डिवीजन वाज माइटोसिस, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन? The ploidy remains same. Spermatogonium cells B2N ही है और ये जो cells है वो B2N ही है, right? The figure is not differentiating. Let us suppose कि अगर ये cells जो है they are type A spermatogonia cells, अगर ये दो type A spermatogonia cells है तो वो वापस क्या होंगे? They will undergo the same process. They will start dividing by mitosis. And these type B spermatogonia cells, they will undergo the process of spermatogenesis. अब ये टाइप बी स्पर्मेटोगोनिया सेल, इज यू कैन सी, अगर ये वाला सेल है इसकी अगर हम लोग बात करें, अगर वो ग्रोथ हो रहा है, इट इज इंक्रीजिंग इन साइज बाय एक्यूमुलेशन ऑफ द साइटोप्लाज्म, तो उसको अभी हम लोग क्या बोलने वाले हैं? प्राइमरी स्पर्मेटोसाइट. Primary spermatocyte undergoes the first meiotic division, and as a result, two cells which are formed, they are said to be secondary spermatocytes. और क्योंकि meiotic cell division हो रहा है, ploidy change हो रहा है, आप लोग यहाँ पे देख सकते हो, there is reduction in the ploidy. 2n से क्या हो रहा है? वो n. Okay, hi खुशी. 10. The secondary spermatocyte, it is going under second meiotic division जो कि हो गया meiosis 2. ठीक है, अब meiosis 2 से क्या होगा? Each secondary spermatocyte is dividing to form two new cells, and each cell formed is also having the same ploidy. और ये cells form हुए उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Spermatids. अब spermatids जो है, they are going to mature and differentiate to form the motile cells called as spermatozoa. ठीक है, ये spermatozoa cells जो है, they are also called as the sperms. They are motile, मतलब sperm का structure हमेशा हमें tail के साथ ही draw करना है because they are motile structures. अगर आप sperm को सिर्फ एक round structure दिखा दोगे, then it will be wrong. Okay? Now, when does all these process start? जैसे हम लोगों ने स्टार्टिंग के फर्स्ट स्लाइड में मैंने आप लोगों को बताया, स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस इज अ प्रोसेस व्हिच स्टार्ट्स एट प्यूबर्टी. कब स्टार्ट होने वाला है? प्यूबर्टी पे. दैट मींस एट द एज ऑफ लेट्स सपोज 11 इयर्स, 10 to 12 इयर्स का प्यूबर्टी एज होता है ऑन एन एवरेज. Okay, so at 11 years the process of spermatogenesis is going to start, and once these process starts, in case of males, it is going to continue throughout the lifespan of the male. जब तक जो male body है, it will not die, the male does not die, the process of spermatogenesis will continue every day. Many sperms will be formed in the body of the males. ठीक है, सो अब हमें जो देखना है, ये देखना है कि प्यूबर्टी पे ऐसा तो क्या होता है जिसकी वजह से स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस का प्रोसेस स्टार्ट होगा. Okay, why does this spermatogenesis process starts only at the puberty? So what next we are going to study is the hormonal regulation of spermatogenesis. मतलब spermatogenesis का जो process है उसको कौन से hormones regulate कर रहे हैं या control कर रहे हैं? So at puberty, okay, I'm writing it here. At puberty, the hypothalamus, you know what is hypothalamus, right? It's a controlling center of the brain. So the hypothalamus releases an hormone called as GnRH. ध्यान से देखिए आप लोगों ने, मैंने GnRH कैसे लिखा है? G is capital, N is small, R and H both are capital. It is written as GnRH. It is called as gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, so this gonadotropin releasing hormone will be released by the hypothalamus. Once it is released, it is going to stimulate the anterior pituitary gland to release the gonadotropin hormones. कौन से gonadotropin hormones होते हैं? That is a luteinizing hormone called as LH, and there is follicle stimulating hormone which is called as the FSH in short. Again, anterior pituitary once stimulated by the from the hypothalamus by the GnRH, the anterior pituitary is going to release the luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone, that is FSH. Now, both these LH and FSH, they have their own functions. The LH, it is going to activate the Leydig cells present in the testes. Okay, I'll show you the cross section here. That ये एक testicular lobule का section है, and these are the seminiferous tubules. What are these? Seminiferous tubules. तो ये seminiferous tubules के अंदर क्या present होता है? There will be spermatogonia cells as well as the Sertoli cells, right? अब हमने पढ़ा था in between the seminiferous tubules, what will be present? The interstitial cells. ठीक है, याद है ना? फर्स्ट में हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था फर्स्ट डे, जो इंटरस्टिशियल सेल्स या जो लेडिक सेल्स होते हैं, they are present here in between. Now the LH, which is synthesized by the anterior pituitary, is going to stimulate these Leydig cells or the interstitial cells to release the androgens. Okay, और मेल एंड्रोजन कौन सा होता है? Testosterone. Which is a male hormone secreted? Testosterone is secreted by the Leydig cells, and under the effect of these testosterone hormone, it starts the process of spermatogenesis. याद रखना है हमें क्लियरली यहाँ पे, spermatogenesis जो है वो कब स्टार्ट होगा? जब LH Leydig cells को एक्टिवेट करेगा, androgens will be synthesized. The type of androgen is the testosterone, and it is going to ultimately start the process of spermatogenesis. FSH जो रिलीज होता है from the anterior pituitary, that FSH is basically going to act on the Sertoli cells. It's going to act on what? Sertoli cells. And once the Sertoli cells are activated, the secretion of the factors for spermiogenesis start. Now, what are these factors? Basically, ABP. What does ABP stand for? Androgen binding proteins. These androgen binding proteins, what they are going to do? They bind to the androgen hormone, that is testosterone. ठीक है, ये testosterone है, तो androgen जो जाता form होता है, it goes and bind with the testosterone, and this is going to again start the process of what? Spermatogenesis. और बाकी Sertoli cells जो है वो secretion में spermiogenesis process के लिए further help करेंगे. So this is how the complete regulation of spermatogenesis takes place. You need to remember here, there are luteinizing hormone or follicular stimulating hormone होते हैं. Tell me students, is this clear to you? Hormonal regulation. जल्दी से आप लोग मुझे बता दीजिए ताकि हम लोग आगे बढ़ सके. दो hormones है LH and FSH, दोनों का individual functions है, but ultimately दोनों जो है वो किसमें help कर रहे हैं? They are helping in the process of spermatogenesis. LH directly testosterone synthesize कर रहा है, और Sertoli FSH जो है, it is activating the Sertoli cells to do what? Secrete ABP or the androgen binding cell. This androgen binding proteins, they are again going to go and bind to the testosterone hormone और ultimately वो spermatogenesis process के लिए ही help करेगा. Okay? Yes, it is clear to Siddhi. What about others? Please comment, students, fast. What about Viraj, Shubham, Aditya? Tell me, is it clear to you all? Fine. So now what is going to happen here? कभी ना कभी तो there should be control in forming the number of sperms, right? So once there is more and more concentration of testosterone present in the body of the male, the testosterone is going to create a negative effect, a negative feedback. वो क्या करेगा जब बहुत ज्यादा टेस्टोस्टेरोन प्रेजेंट हो जाता है ब्लड में, so the hypothalamus again gets a signal that okay, there is enough amount of testosterone present in the blood and the secretion of GnRH should be decreased. So there can be negative feedback as well as positive feedbacks. GnRH पे जो है ज्यादा डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट नहीं जाता, बट क्या हो जाएगा, luteinizing hormone or follicular stimulating hormone, both the concentration of both these hormones will be decreased to a great extent. जब जरूरत है तब वापस वो activate होगा and again the process is going to continue. Fine. अब एक छोटा सा description where you're going to learn about spermiogenesis. Like I told you, spermiogenesis में exactly होता क्या है? The spermatids which have the non-motile structure, they are going to form or convert themselves into sperms that are motile. So how this process is going to take place, that we are going to see here. So if you see a spermatid here, first of all, the first thing that is going to happen is, within the spermatid, the nucleus, it starts getting oblong. Okay, वो oval shape gain करेगा, and on the anterior portion of the nucleus there will be formation of the acrosomal vesicle. और ये acrosomal vesicles actually form कहाँ से होते हैं? From the Golgi apparatus. ये Golgi apparatus जो है, मतलब it is a type of organelle present in eukaryotic cell. Yes, you know that. So these Golgi apparatus, they are going to form the acrosomal vesicles. The centrioles that are present inside the sperm cytoplasm, they are going to arrange themselves. One is going to be present here towards the nucleus and the other one is present here. Okay? Now, so slowly what is going to happen? The centriole which is present on the lower part, it is going to give rise to the tail. You can see here the tail formation has started. And slowly the maturation of the sperm is going to take place. तीन ऑर्गेनल्स का फंक्शन आप लोग को बहुत अच्छे से याद रखना है. एक तो गोल्गी apparatus जो कि एक्रोसोमल वेसिकल या एक्रोसोमल कैविटी फॉर्म करने वाला है. देन कम्स दी सेंट्रियोल्स. दो सेंट्रियोल्स है जो सेंट्रियोल नीचे की तरफ प्लेस्ड होता है, दैट इज गोइंग टू फॉर्म द टेल. And mitochondria which is present as an organelle, it is going to be present here in this region. Okay, यहाँ पे जो है सारे mitochondria अपने आप को अरेंज कर लेते हैं. Can you see here the structure? Yes. This yellow colored structure, what you see here is the mitochondria. Okay? And slowly what is going to happen? The excess of the cytoplasm which was present here, covering the head and the middle region, they are going to form the tail finally. And what is formed is the mature structure of the sperm, that is this. It has a head, a middle piece and a tail. Did you understand, students? मैंने तीन organelles के function समझा दिया आप लोगों को, and without these three organelles, the maturation of the sperm is very difficult. Okay, all these structures, they are somewhere involved, and they are going to help in maturation of these spermatids to form the sperm. Is it clear, students? So once the sperm gets matured, as I told you, it is going to have a head part, a middle piece and the tail region. The complete structure of the sperm is covered by the plasma membrane. Entire body, जो outermost membrane होगा, that will be the plasma membrane. अगर आप head region देखो, we are going to discuss about the structure in one by one in detail. You see the head region, most of the part in the head region is covered by the nucleus, and there is acrosome on the anterior part. There is nucleus and the acrosome. within the head region. There is very less cytoplasm present. What you see here is the centriole. इस centriole को जो है we call it as, I'm writing it here, is called as the proximal centriole. और जो दूसरा वाला centriole था यहाँ पे नीचे, it has formed what? The middle piece. ठीक है, दूसरा centriole जो हम लोगों ने spermatid में देखा था, that is forming this tail and the middle piece part of the sperm. Now, neck is the second part. Now, what is the function of neck? Just it connects the middle piece to the head. Okay, exactly इसी position पे जो है वो distal centriole बोलते हैं इसको. जो दूसरा centriole होता है, it is called as what? Distal centriole, and this distal centriole is going to form the middle piece and the tail of the sperm. Now, if you see the middle piece, next part of the sperm, you will see that the mitochondria, they are arranged spirally. कैसे arranged है पूरे mitochondria? Spirally they are arranged. The reason is spiral arrangement is so that more and more number of mitochondria can be present. Now these mitochondria which are arranged in spiral shape, why are they present in the middle piece? To provide energy. You know what is the function of mitochondria? They are called as the powerhouse of the cell, right? So ये जो mitochondria present है middle piece में, they are going to provide, or you can say they are going to synthesize energy in the form of ATP, which will help the tail to move. Tail की movement के लिए energy चाहिए, and that energy will be provided by the mitochondria. ठीक है, अब ये जो proximal centriole होता है ना, इसका function है कि जब zygote formation हो जाएगा, then it's going to help in cleavage. Cleavage मतलब cell division. Zygote जो cell division का process करता है, that process is called as cleavage. So that cell division starts because of the proximal centriole. और distal centriole का function मैंने आप लोग को already बता दिया, it is involved in formation of the middle piece and tail. ठीक है, tail जो है it is necessary for motility of the sperm, and the energy that it gets is from the mitochondria that is present in the middle piece. So here you see, inside the head there is an elongated haploid nucleus. Its anterior cap has the acrosome. Acrosome होता क्या है basically? It is the structure inside which there are hydrolytic enzymes present. ठीक है, इन hydrolytic enzymes को sperm lysines भी बोलते हैं. What are they also called as? Sperm lysines. These are the enzymes basically which are going to help in entry of the sperm inside the egg. The main enzyme that is present is called as hyaluronidase. Fine, and from where it is derived? Golgi complex. The neck and the middle piece, connecting the head and middle piece part is the neck. And in the middle piece, there are many mitochondria present which are going to provide motility to the tail. And the tail is long, slender, which continuously vibrates for the process of motility. Okay, that continuous vibrations which are generated in the tail of the sperm helps them to move. Now, like I told you earlier also, that the sperm formation starts in male at the age of puberty and it's going to continue till death, right? Till death. In one ejaculation process, ejaculation is a process of release of these sperms. In one ejaculation process, there are 200 to 300 million sperms produced. Why such huge number of sperms are produced? Because these sperms, they have to travel through the female genital tract and reach up to the egg. अगर ज़्यादा number में gametes produce नहीं होंगे, there are chances or less chances of fertilization. So to increase the chances of fertilization, always more and more gametes are produced. Out of all these 200 or 300 million sperms that are formed, 60% of the sperms are healthy sperms, right? And out of the 60% healthy sperms, 40% of these sperms should show vigorous motility. Vigorous motility मतलब क्या? वो बहुत speed में move होने चाहिए. अगर ऐसा नहीं होगा तो female reproductive tract के जो immune system cells है, they might attack them and they might kill them. So it is very much important. ये चीज आपको हमेशा ध्यान रखनी है कि जितने भी sperms produce हो रहे हैं, उसमें से 60% sperms जो है, they are healthy sperms. और उन 60% हेल्दी स्पर्म्स में से जो 40% स्पर्म्स होंगे उनकी मोटिलिटी ज्यादा होनी चाहिए. दे शुड शो विगरस मोटिलिटी which is going to help them to reach to the egg and increase the chances of fertilization. So tell me students, is this complete process of spermatogenesis clear to you? We have seen only one part of gametogenesis, मतलब sperm formation. अब female में gamete formation कैसे होगा, that is yet to be discussed. जल्दी से आप लोग comment कर दीजिए in the comment box so that I can end the lecture here. Fine. The time is up. We have discussed many things. Please go through the video again when you come next time so that you can come to know the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Is it clear to you students? जल्दी से बता दीजिए मुझे. Yes. So students, thank you very much. Soon we complete with the chapters. We will move ahead for online tests. So students, make sure you all are learning, you all are taking notes. जो चीज आप लोग को लग रहा है कि ज्यादा डिटेल में डिस्कस हो रही है, you can always take a screenshot and save it in your phones. Okay, thank you students. We are going to meet next time with next topic. Thank you very much.